What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Texas Auto Channel. If you're new here, definitely hit that subscribe button. So in this video, we're going to be putting on the J37 throttle body, which is bigger than the J32 that's on here. Originally, I thought this was J37. It ended up not being one. We're also getting rid of this intake filter design here. This comes with the comptech Supercharge kit, which they did discontinue the comptech Supercharger. A lot of people have been messaging me all the time asking where to get one. I don't know. I got this on OfferUp. You're just going to have to find them secondhand unless there's someone that knows where to get them. Definitely leave a comment below. So this is a J32 throttle. We're going to be taking this off, putting the J37 onto this, which will cram more air into there. I have a 90-degree elbow with a K&N filter that'll go in here. So let me show you that. This is the K&N filter. It's a truck air filter. It's 3.25-inch inlet with a 90-degree elbow. And this is the exact size to fit on here. It's actually a snug fit. So it'll be something like that. And I did want to show you on here the induction tube that I was talking about in a previous video. That's the induction tube. It goes from this. If you've seen the other videos, this was green in previous videos. I had to sand it all down because rock chips were crazy and I just painted it silver. But yeah, it goes right up in there. The air crams into it and it allows the air filter to get fresh, cool air. I did take the heat shield off, but there is a heat shield that goes over all this. We're gonna try to put that back on once we get the new throttle in. Before we do that, I did want to show you I got the P2R intake spacer and thermal gaskets installed on this intake manifold. What I had to do to make that work was to cut this back farther, so that now it has a smooth flow. 3-inch coupler. It's 5 inches long and 3 inches in diameter, so it's a smooth flow. So now whenever we go back to the dyno after the pre-cat deletes go on, and I got the exhaust done with the MagnaFlow high flow cat, and then we're going to do the J37 throttle. So this thing should, my guesstimate is about 350 horses. So we'll find out for sure once it all gets done. Last time I went to the dyno it was 331, so it should very easily make 20 more horsepower with all the mods I've done. I also took the green off of the tow hook up front, so now it's just the neochrome. And we're going to be painting this thing soon, so definitely stay tuned for that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and set you on the tripod and undo all of this, and we'll compare the throttles. Alright, J32 is right here. This one here is the J37. Just for comparison, this one fits inside that one. We're going to go ahead and measure the J32 first using this. It's a 68mm throttle. And this is a 78mm throttle. It's a huge difference. If we go outer diameter, this is an 83.6 or 83.5 outer diameter. That's huge. And this one's outer diameter 72.6. So definitely bigger, more air will cram in. Now in order to use this on the J32 spot, I had to get this adapter from P2R. I'll leave a link in the description. It's basically to adapt the J37 onto a J32 manifold, and it does taper down a little bit so that no port matching is really necessary. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo all of these and put the spacer on the Supercharger and then get this throttle installed. Alright, when we go to install the P2R adapter for the J37 throttle, it does come with all the hardware you need. I'm basically just gonna bolt it on as if it was a throttle. Alright, there it is. It's all bolted in. As you can see, there is a taper, so you do not have to port match it. It just funnels it down. I'm going to go ahead and get a gasket on this side, and then we're going to put the J37 throttle on. Ready to put it on. Now, I don't hook up these coolant lines. I always have it bypassed because I live in Texas, it gets warm enough, the throttle isn't gonna freeze, and it lowers intake temps. So it will sit staggered versus how it normally sits, like up and down, because they had to make room for the bolt pattern. But I'm gonna go ahead and bolt it in. Now I'm going to go ahead and test fire it, make sure everything's working properly. I don't use this map sensor since my map sensor is up here where it sees positive pressure. So this, I could just put my block off plate here from my other throttle, which is probably what I'll do. But I'm going to fire it up. I connected it. We'll make sure it's running right, and then we'll put the air filter on. Well, everything's sounding pretty good. It's sucking in more air. The throttle response is there, so I could definitely hear that it's working good. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this air filter on now. All right, there it is. The air filter is in. Now we can put this suction tube right up to it and it'll blow the air directly on it. I have this zip tied up out of the way so that way it doesn't fall down or anything like that. Water will not suck through this tube since it's not actually sucking through the filter, and the water will spiral down these spirals here, so I'm not worried about water. We've been getting a lot of rain here in Texas and I haven't had an issue with it hydrolocking or sucking up water at all. Probably trim some of this off, that way there's some room, and then we'll put my heat shield back on and we'll go from there. Okay, there it is. Got the filter in the heat shield. We're gonna go take it for a drive, see how it does. Now, I know it will need a retune because it was leaning out a little bit when I got on it after I put that intake spacer and thermal gasket on. So this is gonna be a lot more air cramming in, so I'm sure it'll lean out more. But if it starts to lean out, I'll just let off. But we're gonna go take it for a spin, see how she does. All right, I'm gonna be data logging this. We're gonna see what the air fuel ratios are at, the boost level is at, since I did the free flowing exhaust and more intake mods, and it'll also help me monitor the air fuel ratios. So I'm gonna be data logging that, so here we go. That sounded good. The supercharger's way louder now, so that throttle's definitely cramming in some more air. When we get back to the house, we'll go over the data log, see what kind of boost it was pushing. The air fuel ratios looked pretty decent. I did add 1 to 2% of fuel over the entire map just to be safe, because we did add a lot more air modifications, so it did lean out a little bit, but on this time it was perfect. So when we get back to the house, we'll go over some more. All right, here's the data log. We can see 3.7 PSI. That was 5 PSI on that one. It's definitely moving. You can see the miles per hour. It got up there quick. Air intake temp definitely got pretty high too. 160 is pretty hot, but we do plan on doing water meth injection soon. But yeah, definitely pulled hard. We're definitely gonna have to go over that data and fine tune it, but definitely making progress. So I definitely recommend the J37 throttle body with the P2R adapter if you have a J32 or a J35 manifold. Now, this J35 manifold is the J35 Z6 manifold out of the Acura TL. It is a little bit larger than the J35 A6 that I got off the minivan. The one on the minivan performed absolutely great. This one does perform just a little bit better. It does help that I have the P2R spacer and thermal gaskets. Highly recommend P2R spacer and thermal gaskets for sure. I did drill and tap the intake temp sensor so that way it can monitor the actual intake manifold temperature. It is a little bit higher that way. Also, my air filter is heat soaking just a little bit through the engine bay. I will have to redo this entire heat shield, but that's not too hard to do. But definitely screaming. This supercharger is definitely happy now that I got that J37 throttle on, and it makes this like little whistle noise when I'm just kind of cruising if I lightly press the throttle, so that's awesome too. But yeah, it's definitely a pretty good setup. Last time I went to the dyno, I made 331 horsepower. That was without the intake spacer, without this intake manifold, without the J37 throttle on, and the free flow exhaust. So when I go back, I'm shooting for right around 350 with this current setup, which it should easily do. In the future, I will be getting a smaller pulley to get more boost. We'll go right around 8 PSI of boost. And with water meth injection, we'll bring them intake temps down. And then this thing should make 400 easily and be super reliable, because it's a great daily. My miles per gallon will drop just a hair because I added more fuel. But on the trip to Kansas, I got 39 miles to the gallon using Bestline's fuel treatment. And on the way back, I got 36 without using Bestline's fuel treatment. So that stuff definitely works. I have a whole video on that if you want to check that out. Everyone was saying I'm lying about my gas mileage, but I went 288 miles. You can do the math yourself. Type in 288 on that calculator. And then I filled the tank up, and it took 7.3 gallons to fill the tank back up. So I did the 288, divide that by the 7.3, which gave me my miles per gallon, which was 39. On the way back, I went 294 miles, and then I ended up using 8.16 gallons to fill it back up. So that's where I got the 36 miles to the gallon. So this thing did phenomenal on the trip. Absolutely great. And I think it's because this twin screw supercharger setup and the way everything was just designed perfectly. I will be doing the pre-cat deletes from PLM to match my PLM J pipe in the future. And like I said, in the future, we'll do water meth injection and more boost. But next time I go to the dyno, I'm shooting for right around 350. This thing's absolutely phenomenal. It pulls really hard, gets to 100 miles an hour super quick. But yeah, it's a great setup, and I definitely have more coming to the channel. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and the like button. Drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. This build isn't for everyone. Everyone will have their personal preference and opinion, that's fine. But I love it how it is, and we will be painting it soon. The reason I'm going to be painting it, you can see there's a clear definition of the paint transition, and I don't like this color. I mean, it looks good. It's a good looking car, but I want to do it matte black, and I think that'll look real nice with the way I have it set up. And yeah, once it's done, it'll probably make more sense, but I will definitely be getting video of that as well. So definitely stay tuned. If you're new here, like I said, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, drop a comment. And I'm going to go ahead and get off here. So I'll see you guys in the next video. And as I like to say, God bless, stay safe, stay awesome.